Today, we will be talking about the presidency of Andrew Jackson and his legacy, and everything he did in his power to make him a notable president. Today's objective is for you all to understand the type of person President Jackson was and how that affected his whole presidency. There will be an online quiz that you have to get at least an 80% on, so make sure to take good notes. Before Andrew Jackson became the 7th President of the United States, he was a notable Army general. He led numerous different attacks in the War of 1812. Andrew Jackson led the Battle of Horseshoe Bend in 1814. The Creek Indian tribes stood on the banks of the Tallapoosa River to fight for their rights for their land. It was 2,600 of Andrew Jackson's troops versus only 1,000 Indians. You can see in the picture that the Indians lined up on the inside of the curve there. Jackson's army ended up wiping out every single Native American except for one 3-year-old boy. When Andrew Jackson heard the kid crying, he told one of his troop members to find the kid. And then he was noted for telling him, "Take him home to Mrs. Jackson." Therefore, they adopted the child and named him Lincoln. He also led the Battle of New Orleans, which was the final battle of the War of 1812. Due to a lack of communication technology during the times, they ended the war with the Treaty of Ghent on December 24th of 1814. But Andrew Jackson didn't get the letter before attacking the British troops on January 8th of 1815. There were 5,000 of Andrew Jackson's troops versus 7,500 of the British troops. Andrew Jackson wiped out the British troops entirely. During the presidential election of 1828, Andrew Jackson finally decided to run for president. His party was the Democrats, which is technically today's Republicans because they are conservative. They believed in the states' rights of having their own money, making their own banks, and making their own roads. His opponent was John Quincy Adams, who was a national Republican. That is technically today's Democrats. They were more about the national government funding the roads, the banks, and having a nationwide currency. Andrew Jackson was more of a common man. He worked on a farm as a child. And John Quincy Adams was about higher education, and he spoke several different languages. So the popular vote was about 50-50 because they both appealed to different people. Jackson did win by a landslide in the Electoral College, so he ended up winning the presidency. During Jackson's presidency, he reshaped the entire Democratic Party. He believed in the quote by Thomas Jefferson, "That which governs best governs least." He believed that states should be able to make their own roads, banks, laws, and money. During the time where the territories in the West were becoming states, the country was disputing over whether they should be free states or slave states. South Carolina threatened to secede from the nation if certain states weren't slave. Jackson believed that the Union should stay together and use the military to threaten South Carolina from seceding. During the presidential election of 1832, Andrew Jackson was the head of his new political party, the Jacksonian Democrats. Henry Clay, who despised Andrew Jackson, was opposing him as a national Republican. There were also 2 third-party candidates, John Floyd, who was a regular Democrat, and William Wirt, who was part of the anti-Masonic Party. Andrew Jackson won this election hands down.